Whatto there, peasants, and welcome back to Planet Coaster! This is now the full version of the Planet Coaster game. It has finally been released as of yesterday. This game is now 100% completely live. We are back once again with the Enchanted Forest, which we'll be continuing to add little few bits and bobs here. Now, I have not actually played this game in a little while, so there's a lot of things that I'm not used to. There's a lot of kind of like new features I still need to play around with, which I'm going to do in my own time, but I just wanted to get a video out just to say hello, and then we will be continuing with these videos. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this kind of like lake thing, this moat that's going around the castle. I wanted to extend it out to become more of like a river that kind of runs around this castle. Now, I can't build beyond my kind of park limits. However, I wanted to kind of add this in there as something a little bit different, chuck it in there so it's a little bit more interesting on the whole kind of scenery front. Now, we go from one side to the other. Now, if you actually pay attention to the Disney castle in the opening kind of titles you get on Disney, it actually is kind of situated over a river. Not in the actual real ones, but in that one it's situated over a river. So that's what I've done. I've decided to add it onto this river. However, the river runs through the castle as opposed to kind of on either side. Now, like I said, I've not played this game in a little bit of time, so while I'm actually playing this, I'm actually discovering things for the first time, so please excuse the fact that these placement controls do end up staying on the side there for quite some time. It's kind of weird. When you're kind of playing this game, you don't really notice them. It's kind of strange when you're playing this. It's just like, oh, there's a big thing right there, but I'm just not really paying any attention to it. But we decided we're going to add this kind of weird spinny kind of thing. I want to add a few more rides onto this to kind of make it a little bit more of like a theme park kind of style thing. And in the next episode, we're going to add a log flume and some other bits and bobs. But I just wanted to add a few little things in there while I could do this to talk to you a little bit more. Now, it's a bit since release, they've changed quite a lot of things. Since like the testing and stuff like that, they've changed quite a lot. They've removed some of the automatic-y kind of features, like the park entrance is no longer like an automatic thing anymore. It's just kind of there. You still have to place some ticket booths, which I did not realise until further on into this episode, where I suddenly discovered that, oh, hang on, I actually need to place something to make it like an actual ticket booth now, which is unusual. It's not unusual. It's a good thing because then you can make your own ticket booths. But I just completely forgot, and I'm gonna have to redo my whole kind of front entrance thing because that whole lot can change now, because at least maybe do something further back. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna have to think about that. I kind of went in blind to do this sort of episode here for you, so we thought, screw it, we're gonna do something blind. We're gonna go in and just have a go and kind of see what happens, really. But we have some new rocks as well, which is all really nice. We have some newly coloured rocks, considering we had the black ones, which I'm looking for at the moment. We had the original black ones, these, as the only rocks that we had for quite some time. And now they've finally released some other ones. So I've decided I'm going to try and make kind of just a little kind of square, just a little pretty bit kind of here, just to fill up this kind of area. Because I've not really done that yet. I've not really had any kind of just little, I don't even know what it is. It's a thing. It's just a spot here. Just a thing that we're adding in to try and make things just a little bit more interesting, of where, just a bit of beautification, I guess the word is. I don't really know. I don't know what it is. It's not a thing that people can walk on. It's just a bit with a statue on. It's essentially what I'm going to do. So I'm trying to build this kind of shrubbery. I don't know, just bits where plants and things for people to look at. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add a couple of these little things in and try and make something just a little bit kind of aesthetically pleasing to fill up this gap, because I'm kind of bored of just putting trees everywhere. So I thought, I'm going to make a thing. I'm going to make a what's-it and stick it here and see what it looks like. And it doesn't turn out too bad. Considering I don't really make these things, I'm not like an incredibly amazing builder which makes these mental kind of huge things. I kind of just tend to make these, little what's-its which I can kind of come up with a bit. And I spot this guy, the king, and I think to myself, I want him on a pedestal. And that's pretty much what I decide to do. Now, like I said, I don't make these kind of things, so forgive me if it's utterly terrible and you're like, what is that? I mean, that is terrible. I have to try and kind of, I had this bit of a creator's block when I was playing this. I was thinking, I don't know what to build. I want to build something, but I don't know what to build. I just don't know where to start, where to begin, what to do. I'm like, I have a block. I don't know what to do. I'm just kind of going with the flow here. But there is one thing I would like to do. I am very tempted to start a level which actually involves me having to have money. that could be somewhat interesting, guys. So, you know, having a park grow, kind of just see how things happen, see how things work. Because I've not done that yet. This has always been a sandbox thing where you've got unlimited money, you can do whatever the hell you want. So I am very tempted to start a series where I try my hardest to actually try and build a genuine theme park, you know, from scratch with actual cash and see what we can come up with, really. Because I can tell it's going to be something where we have to build really basic rides to make the money, to make the money, to make the things, to make the things, to make more stuff. You know, because it's going to be completely different. Whereas in this kind of mode, you can just go mental and build whatever the hell you want. In that mode, it will be completely different. You'll play the game completely different. Plus, that way I'll learn the whole ways in which this game works now, because it is completely different. Originally from the alpha and the betas, it is changed considerably. There is a lot of difference. The UI is slightly different. There's more things to do. There's travel rides now. Like track rides, you know, like trains and stuff like that. We've got flumes, river rapids, all that kind of stuff. And obviously with that comes a lot more customization and a lot more kind of testing and moving stuff around. So I need to get back into this game to get my creativity kind of moving again, because, you know, it's got to the point of where I'm not really sure what to build. I don't really know where to go. And it's been a little while. It's been at least a couple of weeks since I played this, and a lot has changed in a couple of weeks. An absolute ton of stuff has changed in a couple of weeks, actually, and more than I probably could have even imagined would have changed. But it's for the better, obviously. Things have changed for the better, because a lot of stuff is just completely different and is reworked and makes more sense and just kind of is easier to do, easier to build. It's still very time consuming, so you do need to take out a lot of space from your day to try and build something interesting, which is kind of what, you know, I took an hour. This was about an hour's footage, 45 minutes to an hour, which I managed to cram down into 15 minutes using the whole speed up tool, which is bloody fantastic, but, you know, hey ho. But we aren't doing too bad. We're not doing too bad. So what I've done here is I've created this pedestal with a king thing on it. I've got a little bit of scenery going on there, and I wanted some flooring to add into here. So I ended up using the castle roof to try and just sort of blend something up here. I realised I did it utterly terribly after I actually placed it all, but it does look a little nicer. It does look a bit more like a plaza, somewhere kind of to stand. However, you can obviously see through here, so I need to try and come on. I try and use this as a mask to try and kind of blend in a little bit more, so it makes it less obvious that there's this concrete under there, so it's not so it doesn't stare you in the face so much, and it works to an extent. It doesn't look too bad. We have our own first little plaza thing going on here, but there is something I do need to add, which I completely forgot, which was balloons. We now can add balloons to this game, which is fun, because, you know, watching people running around with balloons, and I really hope by clicking on them we get to pop them like we could in Roller Coaster Tycoon, and that was fun, just annoying people popping their balloons. I don't know why it was amusing, it just was. Now, obviously, we need to have some trees here, because it is, of course, the Enchanted Forest hidden within the woods. That's what it is. It's the Enchanted Forest. It's hidden. This whole place is just kind of like a kingdom within the woods. Now that we have the train rides, I was thinking about having like an entirely separate kind of area which you can only access by train, and having it as this kind of crazy sort of corner, which is like roller coaster kind of central. That's where all the main big roller coasters are going to join onto, and it's essentially going to be what I was thinking of having, of kind of like a plaza, like just a big open space where people can walk around, having it kind of like somewhat like a courtyard with kind of buildings around it, like a bit of a buildingy kind of themed place, with the only way to get to it is via train. So it kind of forces people to get on the whole train, which I'm going to add, which I will add to this, and it kind of forces people to get on the train. Now, I realise I need to get some of these guys down. I've not got any mechanics down. I forgot these were a thing now. So I chucked down 3 of those guys, and we also chucked down a crazy, fiery tiki guy, who's now in there. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of having like kind of like in a corner somewhere, an entirely new part, down, you know, near the castle, like one of these corners down in the back there, of having this crazy kind of roller coaster area where we have maybe an entirely underground roller coaster, and then having stuff on the top and things like that. So I'm going to place the train here. Now, I love this train because it looks like the Hogwarts Express. It looks a little bit like the freaking Hogwarts Express, and I'm a massive fan of Harry Potter. So that's what we're doing. We're going to add this, and this is the first time I've built a train, so I don't know how these guys work either, but we're going to obviously have to build a station here as well, which I will do probably in the next episode. And I need to try and also figure out, I'm guessing we can just add multiple stations and it just stops as it goes around. I'm assuming that's how it works. I'm not really sure, but I'm kind of assuming that. So what my idea is going to be is to take quite a long route around here. But you know, and probably have multiple kind of stations. I'm thinking maybe having one thing in this corner. I'm not sure yet though. I might just take it around kind of like a scenic route, because I'm adding now a larger kind of lake here, which the castle kind of sits next to. This could obviously be the water source for the whole, you know, the whole village and all. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the train around this, so it has a bit more of like a scenic kind of route, because just running straight forward to something is kind of boring. And we'll build around the train track. I've got no problems with building around the train track, but what we're going to do is we'll have it running alongside the lake here. I don't know what to call this. I'm going to call this lake, I don't know, Lake Chay. We'll call it Lake Chay. So it's moving around Lake Chay, and it's just going to jump over the side here. Have a nice little bridge that moves over Lake Chay and then carries on. You do get a nice view of the castle there. It's a shame I couldn't go in front of the castle, because I find it's going to take too much. I think it will just stand out a little too much if I go in front of it, but it will go behind it, which is nice. We're gonna let it go behind it, and I'm thinking up in this corner here. Now I think I might be able to expand my park. I'm not really sure yet. I need to look into that again and see if I can figure out a way to expand the park a little bit more, so I can have this extra space for the roller coasters. But I'm gonna bring this to come round the side of the crazy teacup thing, and I'm gonna take it over the front of my kind of entranceway doohickey. We're going to take it over the front of the entranceway doohickey as something else, as something else that the guests can see when they walk in. They might every now and then catch the train going across the front of it, as just another kind of scenic kind of nicety that we'll have on there. So it doesn't need to go over the thing here. I really wish that it would take out terrain. It might do. I just spotted a possible... I don't think it will. Which is kind of annoying. It'd be really nice if it would automatically delete terrain it was trying to go through. It might do. There might be something on here which I can turn on which does that. I am unaware of that currently, but I will look into that as well to try and figure out whether or not it actually does that. But we have a nice thing that goes across the entrance there. Now, like I said, I might need to change this entrance because I may want to have my ticket things right down here. I'm unsure yet. But this whole kind of front bit there needs to change, I find. Now that I've actually got more stuff into the game, I feel like I might have to change some of the front parts and change things a little bit more. I'm unsure really. I also like to get some more carriages on this train, but I don't know how I can add further, more, whatever they're called, stations. I don't know if that's a thing. I'm going to need to have a look into that as well, but I can't really do anything until I get the train completed, so I can actually change some of the different things on it. I need to have a look into that as well. So I do apologise in the fact that I've kind of walked into this quite blindly and quite stupidly, in all fairness. I don't really know what I was doing, so I did decide I was going to have a kind of... I don't know what this is. This is like a little canyon-y, sort of a rock feature that the train goes over as it comes around into the station. It kind of blocks off this a little bit, so it's not taking all of the interesting parts away from whenever you're going around there. But it's just something I wanted to add in. I wanted to have a train that move around. I wanted the train to take guests to like a very roller coaster kind of centric kind of area. It would be kind of like the area of madness. It's kind of the bit you go to where... I don't know, I might have it kind of like the black magic section or something like that, where we have the witch as well, so we can kind of be the crazy section. This is all kind of the nicety bit, and then we have this kind of mad, the X sector at Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, I don't know where that came from. There's somewhere like Alton Towers where they have this kind of major mental bit where you go and, you go and just have these crazy rides. But I still obviously need to complete the central, the Disney castle. That's something I'm probably gonna work back on again in a couple of episodes. I wanted to have a bit more trying around with the new features they've got on here, rather than just jumping in and just going crazy on the castle all the time, because I don't know, I need to look at that a bit more. I need to find my lovely Lego pictures. I don't know why I didn't download them and just have them on my system. I might do somewhere, I can't remember if I did. But I noticed I had a message telling me that the entrance wasn't connected, and I was like, hang on a minute, I'm pretty sure it's not changed. I don't ever remember it changing, and at this point I'm thinking, oh god, how do I make this? I remember seeing something about entrances somewhere, but I wasn't sure where they were. So you can build these entrances yourself. You can do this yourself, which is what I might do. I might go on a different level and maybe record myself just building one of these fancy entrances and probably chuck it on the Steamworks or something like that. But I've discovered how it works, so I need to build a newer entranceway again, because I didn't realise that this was something I had to do. I thought, considering it was already a level which had it on, I didn't actually think it would remove it. But it did. So, no biggie. I will have to just figure out a way of building this now and probably having my own one. Like I said, I might build one which I can add in myself. Now, I don't know if I can extend them and make them bigger, matching pathways and stuff. I don't really want to have these tiny little walkways because it just doesn't look right. I mean, going through there, it'd be nice to have a bit, you know, something on the other side. But I can work around that. I might be able to come up with some kind of a pathway that adds that. So that's something I'm going to have to do separately by myself. But like I said, I might record it and upload it anyway, just as like a time-lapse kind of thing. And I'm probably going to chuck it on the old Steam Workshop as well, so for you guys to have. And I want to try and add more stuff on there as well, different things that I've built personally. I would like to have more things on there for you guys to be able to use them, because I'm pretty sure you'll see stuff on here that you may want to use, which is fine, which I want to upload and have that on there. I have no problem with that at all, which is what I'm going to try and do. But for the time being, I just need to add this in here and just leave it. I need to have it in here and just kind of leave it as it is and let it do its thing. I'm pretty sure I did these the wrong way around. I looked at it again and realised that the words were facing the other way, so I'm pretty adamant that it's the wrong way around. I'm not sure what these things written are. Are these like donators or something like that? I'm not really sure. They have names and stuff on them, so they might be people who donated on here for the game, or maybe like bought the super massive ridiculous editions or something like that. So I do turn these around. I think I've got them right around. This is something I'm going to have to test my own time and try and figure out whether or not it's correct. I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference. I literally have no idea. So we're going to get to that at another time, but we are coming to the end of this episode today. So things I'm going to do next episode. We need to try and finish the train. We need to have this extra section, but in the meantime, and obviously the log flume and stuff like that, but in the meantime, I need to take some time to myself, like maybe have my own kind of extra park building on the side where I can kind of build these things and do whatever I need to do and try and figure out how this game works now, because it is completely different. You have to do a lot of stuff yourself. The game doesn't do things for you anymore. You have to do this all yourself. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. So we're going to kick back with this again, and I will see you when I see you. When I see you, when I see you. Till freaking new friends. Goodbye. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. Go and do that now. Do that now. Post in comments as well of what you think of the game so far. Ah, mental!